Hello, everyone. This is going to be a very short review because, quite frankly, I couldn't get through more than 7 or 8 minutes of this movie. As soon as the lesbian scene came on screen, I was out. I was done with this movie. I was just done. Um, I'm just so tired of all of this. It's so tiresome. Um, it's this dichotomy between, okay, so do we support these people and allow them to extort us with threats of self-harm and suicide, or the leveraging of other people, if not, again, the extortion of the society through legal means to establish a world that, quite frankly, only benefits them. And I'll admittedly, I was young, I was juvenile. I had fantasies about threesomes, and I've watched lesbian porn. Let's be honest about this. But in as I get older, the less patience I have for the Rainbow Mafia, especially for the the propaganda machine, right? That grooms and makes it look like it's attractive, and then that puts me in strange company with gays against groomers. And when it comes to my relationship with the Rainbow Mafia, because that's what I'm going to call them, because I know all of you are going to laugh at that, and it's kind of funny, you know, is well, I had a gay roommate, right? We were friends. We met through mountain biking, through a friend of a friend's. It didn't really matter to me. I didn't give a shit. I just didn't give a shit, right? And when we met, he had a younger boyfriend. He had a twink boyfriend. It was really awkward. Um, so he used to complain a lot too about like the transgenderism stuff, and how the politicians really want to lump everyone in together into this neat and tidy package, and Canada has really tried its very best to make a mockery of human rights, as if it's something antiquated. Like, Canada has a human rights museum. Okay, so what does that mean? That these principles are only belong in a place filled with artifacts of the past and mementos and stories of landslide or watershed moments? I just and then they got themselves into positions over the years, again through leveraging, because that's exactly what they did. Leveraging civil unrest for historical revenge of the AIDS crisis, or gay bashing or something like that. Whatever creeped inside their ear and planted an egg in their brain. Whatever parasite was in their bloodstream at that time, that decided to hijack their cerebellum and throw them off balance, as if they've been taking more than a couple hits to the head. Now, we've really fucked up here, because, in my opinion, the larger that the Rainbow Mafia grows, the lower the birth rate, of course, in correlation to birth control and family planning and so on and so forth. It really is a self-defeating cycle, and I've said this in other videos, like, straight up. I believe there is scientific basis of the psychology, that homosexuality is a disability, because if you can't reproduce, I consider that a disability, right? One of the primary functions of a species is to propagate itself. That's the very scientific definition of the requirement for reproduction, whether that be asexual reproduction or a two-sexed based reproduction strategy, right? And when it comes to other things, if we're going to expand on this, I was thinking I was going to keep this to like 3 minutes, but it's as if their hormones weren't correct from the very beginning, and then you seek out these certain behaviors being motivated by these hormones or the lack thereof, and we cocked that all up too, right? We seem to have thought in this society that we could not just pray the gay away, but that we could medicate the straight away as well, and that we could turn every person into a pansexual demi fuckhead. I'm in opposition to David Tennant by even speaking about it like this. And I used to like David Tennant. I still respect him, most certainly, as Doctor Who and as D.I. Tyler, right? Those are my favorite roles of his. But he's very vocal. And why do I mention him? Why do I mention David Tennant? Because it's usually not him. I think it's his wife. If we're going to talk some gossip here. And women are the ones that are the worst to women, right? Not we talk about all of this violence towards women or violence against women, which I think is a grammatical fuck up, because the action, the verb, doesn't have a motivation against, or a motivation in opposition to anyone. Violence is an action, so it has to be towards. You have to act out in violence towards someone or towards something. So, say for example, if I decide to shoot a dog for no particular reason, that's an act of violence. If I decide to go out and take a baseball bat to someone that I think is a homo just because of how they look, that's an act of violence, right? The problem to me is again the rebellion, right? It's just this the trendiness, and I said this before in other videos, again here on this channel, having to do with transgenderism, and I cited a video of some youth in Texas and how they were mocking it, right? It had become a moment in our culture in which we had become so stressed out that we decided that it was better just to chop off our balls and stuff them down each other's throats than it was to have children. When a woman is stressed out, it's the same with a man, right? You're not going to get aroused, right? So if you don't get aroused, there's no orgasm, and the orgasm is an essential part of reproduction. I don't know. As a man, this is really, really trailing off somewhere, or going somewhere deep in the back of my head. For whatever particular reason, this scene just evoked this train of thought and this stream of consciousness that it leaves a bitter taste in my mouth. The whole thing just leaves a bitter taste in my mouth. I'm not about to go out and bomb a courthouse because someone made an incorrect ruling, right? I'm not interested in radicalizing people or in acting as if I'm some sort of revolutionary. I didn't want any of this, okay? But over the years, every individual that I've interacted with, sooner or later, has a grudge or a chip off their shoulder against me or towards me, and just for sticking to my principles. So when you're confronted with the Medusa, and your only option is to shine the mirror in their face to survive, then that's what you're going to do. And that's how you expose people, right? You shine the mirror in their face so that their hypocrisy shines through all of their bullshit. And it was Peterson that said this, who was on Facebook earlier today. Is that a psychopath doesn't know when to stop, right? They just keep on going back to the same thing. A fool returns to his own folly as a dog does its own vomit, right? They keep repeating the same actions. They keep doing these things to the same people, and they'll just do it for the laughs, right? Because they don't have empathy. Their physical brain structure does not allow for a fully developed, mature, emotionally stable person. And if you decide to step into the ring, you're going to get hit in the head. And I think if you get hit in the head more than a couple of times, it could probably turn you gay. Just like doing too many stimulants. You'll burn out your hormones, and all of a sudden you start acting like a woman, and you want to suck dick. You know how absurd that is? Oh, man. But I keep seeing this, again, with my exposure to people in rehab or in jail, right? And it amazes me how desperate people are for validation, comfort, affection, and physical touch. Now, I'm human, okay? I'm not a bigot, okay? Let's be clear about that. I thought that was fucking obvious years ago. It's a shame that I have to keep proving this to people, just to break through the memory hole, right? Because we store things away in filing cabinets, or at least some of us do. Like Doctor Sleep. In that movie, we file all of our memories away as if we're an organized person. And if you get knocked in the head more than a couple of times, or you have a bunch of traumatic events happen to you, then it all gets scrambled up. And all of a sudden you want to suck dick. Thankfully, I can say to myself, I say to myself and to this confessional, because, well, within the first 10 minutes, the mother's like, oh, this woman's telling me that you're having a lesbian relationship with your teammate, your bestie, so on and so forth. And like, I'm looking at this and I'm like, I'm thinking of cross-referencing it to other behaviors, say like those men in South America that have their favorite donkeys, or the stories of the man that was loving his German Shepherd, or even the stories from 4chan in which women were found to have dog semen in their vaginal canals. So, you tell me who's fucked. Unbelievable. Honestly, unbelievable. The things that we tolerate. Again, my patience has worn thin. I am no longer interested in any of this. I honestly, I'd rather, if I could snap a finger and make all these people straight in one night, then I would. Just do the Thanos. Snap, no more problem. Or at least that maybe that's too extreme. Maybe that's homophobic by saying that. But how many people out there are, this was the whole argument against conversion therapy, right? Was that the subjects were basically subjected to an MK Ultra program, and then that they had to, adhere to strict rules and be observed, you know, for the virtue of purity and so on and so forth. And I think that's all bullshit. This was a thing, right? It came to be in Canada when the ban on conversion therapy happened, and this was the difference between, say, the progressive part of Christianity versus the more conservative part of Christianity in North America. And again, I just it's unignorable. You cannot ignore the correlations between drug use, homosexuality, and psychopathy. This is going to be unpopular. I don't give a shit. I'm going to speak my mind here. Speaking my mind, and again, it's a very loose hypothesis. Anyways, that's all I'm going to say about this. Sydney, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. This just it doesn't do it for me. And this movie did terribly as well. It got like 60% approval rating on Rotten Tomatoes and like 6.5 on IMDb. You know, some people think they're forging a path forward for the sake of progress, but what they're really doing is digging their own grave.